Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and felt that deep, almost overwhelming pull? Like you just have to know what's out there? Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're tracing an epic, really against all odds kind of quest. We're literally charting a roadmap to the stars to figure out exactly what it takes to become a space scientist. It's a journey of extreme dedication, some pretty wild challenges, and ultimately unparalleled discovery. All right, let's just dive right into it.
So first up, what exactly does this role even entail? A space scientist, you'll also hear them called astrophysicists or aerospace researchers, is someone totally dedicated to studying the universe. We're talking planets, stars, and all that incredibly complex tech required to actually reach them. And look, this isn't just a handful of isolated geniuses locked away in a remote lab. Heavyweights like NASA and the European Space Agency, they hire thousands of these professionals every single year. The demand to understand the cosmos is massive.
But that really brings us to the big question, right? How do you actually become one? How do you go from just stargazing in your backyard to actively uncovering the universe's greatest secrets? Honestly, I want you to look at the steps we're going to cover today as your own personal hero's journey. It's a roadmap built on defying the odds. So let's break down exactly how you equip yourself for this adventure, step by step. Section 1. The Cosmic Calling. It's time to equip your fundamental toolkit. Look, before you can go off conquering the mysteries of deep space, you've got to survive your first major trial, building the absolute right foundation. You simply can't build a rocket on a shaky base. That means going back to the core basics. You've got to focus intensely on physics, mathematics, and chemistry. But here's the catch. Just memorizing textbook formulas? Yeah, that's not going to cut it here. You have to deeply, intuitively understand concepts like gravity, motion, and energy. You need to know not just what happens, but exactly why it happens.
And honestly, this quote brilliantly illustrates why those basics matter so much. Think about this. The same laws that make an apple fall also control planets orbiting stars. It's such a fascinating fact, right? It connects what you learn in a standard classroom directly to the absolute majesty of the cosmos. The exact same invisible forces pulling an apple from a branch are the ones holding massive, burning stars and distant planets in this delicate, eternal dance. So when you master these basics, you're quite literally learning the language of the universe.
Section 2. Choosing your path. Time to select your academic specialization.
Okay, so once you've got that universal language down, you've got to pick your specific armor for the battles ahead. Usually that means getting a degree in astrophysics, aerospace engineering, astronomy, or physics. But we really need to bust a massive myth here. The expectation is that you absolutely must attend some incredibly famous, prestigious university like MIT or Stanford. And sure, they have world-class programs. But the truth? The truly empowering reality is that your actual practical skills matter far, far more than the university name stamped on your degree. Don't ever let the lack of a famous school name stop you. Your capability and dedication will absolutely win out in the end.
Space science is literally a massive field, so you really have to choose your exact path. Are you going to study black holes and entire galaxies? Are you going to build the actual rockets and satellites that get us up there? Or maybe you want to search for life on other planets. You got to pick one direction and go incredibly deep. Just think about Neil deGrasse Tyson. He built an absolute legendary career by focusing entirely on astrophysics and science communication. Find your niche and master it completely.
Section 3. Mastering the tools. Time to acquire those gritty technical skills. Now this brings us to what's probably the most surprising hurdle our aspiring hero is going to face. It's not just about dreaming up grand theories, because there's a pretty startling contrast here that really grounds this whole against all odds story. The expectation? A space scientist spends all day romantically staring at stars through a giant telescope. But the reality? It's coding in Python. It's analyzing massive, overwhelming datasets on a computer screen. Just having a degree absolutely won't make you successful here. Space scientists translate mountains of digital information captured by modern instruments. So, to survive and thrive against the odds, you literally must learn these mandatory real-world skills. Coding, and Python is an absolute key player here, along with rigorous data analysis and advanced research skills. Because if you can't speak to the computers that operate the telescopes, you simply can't speak to the stars. You absolutely have to master these specific digital tools to turn that raw space data into actual human discoveries.
Section 4. Entering the arena. This is where you actually gain experience.
Armed with your foundation, your degree, and those digital skills, you've got to step into the real world and prove your worth. And visually mapping this out, it's a grueling but super rewarding timeline. You spend your first years building those solid foundations in school. Then you spend more years earning specialized degrees.
But crucially, you have to overlap that with real experience. Join internships, work on research projects. You can actually go online right now and explore real space data from NASA completely for free to start building your portfolio. It takes a decade or more of relentless prep before you're even knocking on the doors of top agencies.
And then, once you're finally ready, once you've forged yourself through all those trials, you apply to the absolute titans of the space industry. The ultimate destinations. We're talking NASA, SpaceX, ISRO. This is exactly where all that immense effort, all those late nights coding in Python, and all those physics exams are actually leading you.
Section 5. Defying the odds. The emotional climax of this whole journey. Because look, stepping up to the doors of NASA or SpaceX, that's not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the ultimate test. Let's be completely honest with each other for a second. This path is tough. As this quote lays out really plainly, competition is intense, you need persistence and passion. You are going up against some of the brightest minds on the entire planet. It takes years of intense study, grueling work, and immense patience just to survive the process.
But here is the ultimate saving grace. If you truly, deeply love space, it will never feel boring. And that's exactly what makes this monumental, against-all-odds struggle entirely worth it. True passion is basically an endless fuel source. The hardships, the long nights staring at spreadsheets, the intense competition, it all kind of fades away when you remember that your daily job is quite literally unlocking the secrets of the universe.
So after breaking down all the science, the skills, the timeline, here is your immediate actionable mission. Step 1, start learning today. Literally don't wait. Step 2, stay consistent. This journey takes years, so you gotta pace yourself and just keep moving forward. And step 3, never stop being curious. Let that deep, overwhelming curiosity, the kind that made you look up at the night sky in the first place, drive everything you do.
Because if you stay the course, if you build the foundations, master those tools, and push through all that intense competition, one day you might not just be watching explainers like this one. As our source beautifully puts it, you could be the one discovering the next big thing in the universe. What an incredibly provocative thought to leave on. The stars are waiting for you out there. So get out there, start learning, and go build your own roadmap to the cosmos.